Previously on DMQuest, where the audio got lost so you didn't actually get to watch it the first time.
Jasper turns and starts making some big circling loops. And as he's looking up, kind of patrolling the area, you see his giant wasp form, glittering in the sun now, and suddenly stop in midair, and then he just goes, put on the brakes right before he lands, hovering in front of you all, and drop form, and just sit there and going, something big is coming. Alright, well, I guess we'll get rolling here. After a rather tumultuous time through a strange demi-plane, I don't think we ever quite identified where we were in all the great wide multiverse, but a strange grassy plain full of ziggurats and quaddles and some sort of invading force that swayed the quaddle from their sacred charge of guarding the ziggurats. You guys managed to work your way through, trump the lion centaur folk, that Lamia that populated the plains, and not get eaten by a bunch of quaddles. So, good on you. Then looking to escape this place once and for all after the portal that brought you here disappeared, you tracked down through the information that there might be just such a portal at the base of the ziggurat, and traveling through there, all of the lovely traps, true sacrifices were made by some, callous disregard for other people's property was those sort of choices were made by others, and you guys managed to finally get down to the bottom, face off with some mummies that were masquerade, or air elementals that were masquerading as mummies, and but guarding
mummies that were gassy.
That were guarding the treasure hoard down at the bottom, and a book of some sort of strange import, strange symbols all over it. We not quite identified what that book actually was, but seemed to be a lot going on there. Perhaps this thing was used as a hub for various other places throughout the multiverse or through planar travel. There was a lot of suggested avenues of import there, but not a lot of answers were had at the time, as the party was more interested in just getting out of this place.
Thanks, that sounds way more awesome than what I was thinking.
No, I'm pretty sure that's exactly what you meant. And thankfully you did find the key to unlock the power of the book in this place to open up a portal, one of these many doors scattered throughout the base of the ziggurat, and got us back to a place that we are fairly certain is our home turf. We seem to think we are located somewhere to the north of Ice Blossom, just based on our position with the mountains and what we seem to see from there. We're far to the east of the Frosted Spine Mountains. So quite a journey from where we were in Valkstad, which was on the western portion of the Frost Spine. As we all kind of stood around trying to orient ourselves in this new place, trying to just get bearings on where we were, an enormous pile of gold and treasure just piled up on the ground. Your new friend, Vestigian, and his men had come through with you, as well as the mother and daughter who, the search of which started this whole crazy venture off, all kind of piled around, trying to get our feet. While that was going on, Hargus started throwing up his dome for a rest, because we'd all been pretty bunged up, and while he was doing that, Jasper thought he'd go for a little patrol, flying high up into the air in the form of a giant hornet, if I recall. taking to the skies. He did some big looping patrols and then just suddenly came beelining it back down to the group. Probably as they were moving into Hargus's tiny hut, just to fall down on the ground and rest up, since a lot of Vestigian's men had been severely injured. At least 3 had been brought back from quite literal death and had been revivified by Jasper. And the party all kind of gathered. Probably everyone's piling in as you see Jasper just beeline it down from the heights, hit the ground, quickly pop out of his giant wasp form and just look around panicked. And there's just something big's coming. Something really big is coming. I don't know. It's massive. Look, and it's coming this way. Flying, and just over that way. And you guys point up and you can see like this speck coming towards you, but just based on the altitude that it must be at and the distance away, and yet you can still see it, you just get an idea of how big this thing must be. It's kind of just...
I'm not quite ready fixing my suit, but I'll put it into double gear.
I don't
get your battle stations ready.
I don't have much. What?
We haven't had a long rest or a short rest, right?
No.
Correct.
No. Yeah, you can see it up there, starting to circle now. It seemed like flew in, kind of got above you guys, and now it's making these big, giant arcs above, more or less right above your location.
Ew. Damn.
What do we do?
I speak Draconic. Maybe we could have a word before he crisps us?
Want to make a perception check and see if you...
Is it a dragon?
That would be awesome. 19. I'm not sure. It's been a while. Well, I rolled a natural 19. Plus whatever my perception is, which I think is 2. 1, so 20.
Okay. You start staring up at this thing, and it is kind of middle of the day still, so you can see this occasional silhouette just blotting out a little bit of the sun high above. And as you're looking at that silhouette just up there in the sky, you think to yourself, yeah, this is a dragon. A large dragon.
Can we discern a color?
A huge dragon. It's a little tough because
that can be a color.
You're looking just silhouetted at the sun. Really, at this point, all you're seeing is the black silhouette of it circling above. Not even flapping its enormous wings, just coasting.
Are we inside the dome?
So the dome can fit up to 9 people, I believe.
Do we want to negotiate with it or just pull its tail and try to run it off?
Please be fire a dune. Please be fire a dune.
You start hearing shoveling noises.
I'm going to sit on the gold and I'm going to pull out my lute because it has the most strings, and I'm going to start playing a complicated little let's be friends kind of ditty.
Okay.
You and me and you.
Yeah. I know enough Draconic. I can throw some Draconic in it, and I guess I need to make a lore check.
So
then I guess if it's Draconic, it's I love you. You love me.
Oh no! Rocks fall. Rocks fall. Everybody dies.
By the way, my offer to send y'all that book holds. I will gladly send it to you if you'd read it.
I think Austin and I will need to Rochambeau over it or something. I don't know. So we'll sort it out. I think we're both up for that.
It did look pretty good.
In light of Dustin singing of the dark words from the Dark Lord of Evil,
To the purple path.
Jar Jar.
His little song goes echoing across the plain, and the great dragon rains death from above. TBK. It was a good run, guys.
No, there's a little spell called Calm, which
calm.
would encourage calm.
This is what cold-blooded means.
Yeah.
Well, you don't have to cast. You don't have to cast a spell at something. You can radiate an aura of goodwill.
So there is one
which I'm attempting to do through my
little
music.
caveat that has to occur here, actually, and that's that you have to stay inside the tiny hut, Hargus. If you
Otherwise,
leave,
it dispels.
if you leave the tiny hut, it will pop
Disappear.
away.
Oh, I didn't realize that. I thought I could just cast it and remain for 8 hours.
You don't have
It
to
does, as long as you
concentrate.
remain in it.
Yeah, you don't have to concentrate on it, but you do have to stay within its boundaries. Now, you can make it transparent so you can see in and out clearly, if you want.
You know, that's fine. And we'll leave it transparent so we can see everybody's injured.
Okay.
And that way I can...
Too.
And I think my demeanor will be I'm totally oblivious to him.
Okay. So there's Hargus, and I think 8 other people can go inside. How many men did Vestigian have with him? So there's Hargus.
You mean Septian?
Septian. I keep saying
He had
Vestigian.
8.
Who's Vestigian? Septian.
Let me just pull
He's
up
one
that
of the
note.
ones
But
that
I believe
died.
it was 8 men.
You tried to
Nope.
res him back, and he immediately died again.
Vestigian. So we got Hargus and 2 women, and then Septian. What are we gonna say?
That sentence by itself: Hargus and 2 women.
Yeah. Ooh. Nothing new there. I think. What? 5 other? I think we'll say 5 other men with Septian.
There's 8 men with Septian.
Okay. Well, the
The
5
if we need to. The women can be in there, and then whoever is too cowardly to stand.
Yeah. Well, those 3 guys
Bran
who
is
only
out
have
on the
1
gold,
HP.
still enjoying his.
The wounded are excused.
Yeah.
He's making bread with angels right now.
Bran, you're digging.
I can see how
hole.
dragons get used. In the gold.
You're trying
with
to.
my body.
So that's going to be your preparation for this thing coming in. Is burying yourself
Yes.
in gold.
I am.
Now, one detail
Cover in a mound of gold.
we did do, we drug in the stuff that specifically that we thought we wanted, and we left the heat that we just shoved out.
Okay.
Remember?
Tried pulling.
So
the
we
good
were
stuff
trying to
in.
distract him.
Okay. So the good stuff is pulled in. All right, Flint. Anything else? As you guys watch now, it starts to bank, and you see it turning a slow turn and start slowly kind of getting lower. Anything you want to do before it gets here, Austin?
I'm just sort of I'm trying to fix the mangled arm of my armor suit so that I can wear it properly. But I also am just looking up as I'm doing it, just sort of waiting to see if I can tell what color the dragon is, because from what I've heard in the stories, color means a lot with dragons.
I'm gonna cast Disguise Self and pose like one of your ladies. You know that phrase?
You don't know nothing
One of your
about
French girls. So Brambrick's gonna do that, but I am going to be completely colored the coloration of gold.
So you're like a gold statue?
Of myself, yes. Posing.
Okay.
Like this on it.
I just look over, I'm like, Branbreck, if it does just accept the treasure as tribute to leave us alone, it's just going to take you with it. That's not going to really help much.
I don't see a problem with this compromise.
All right. But I walk over and I get my shovel and I bring it back. I'm keeping this, though.
As you grab it and bring it back, it loses its gold luster, I guess, because it's no longer on me, right?
Oh, you were holding it? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I assume.
Okay, I thought you just shoveled a hole and then left it to the side or something, but...
Oh, yeah, either way.
Okay.
You grab your shovel.
All right. So you guys start just watching it comes in. After it circles for a minute or so, you see it tuck its wings and just start dive bombing the location, just coming straight down.
Ah, dang.
Gonna pull up at the last second and just poop on us.
Yeah, just coming down, and you can start
Drop a big
hearing,
boots on her.
Yeah, you can start hearing the flutter of great scaled leathery wings as it comes in, just this rippling through the air, cracking through the cold morning air, and at the last minute it does come up, the wings flare, there's this giant gust of wind that just comes across the entire camp, everyone's eyes, squinting in this near gale force wind, tears kind of streaming out.
Glad on the side.
Everybody in the dome's fine.
Everyone in the dome's fine, yeah, but you guys on the ground.
I don't think it blocks.
Just like,
I look over at one of the ladies. And I was like, "Looks like it's time to start drinking."
Still flapping there above you guys, silhouetted against the sun, just above you. About let's say 80 feet away. You hear this booming voice echo out. "Who are you, travelers?"
What color is it? Can we tell yet?
Make a fairly easy perception check at this point.
The sun's in my
But the
eyes.
sun is in your eyes, so it's not
19.
That's 11.
20.
11. Scott, you're glancing in there, and some of the protection from the bubble isn't quite making you tear up quite so much, so you can actually see the glinting of silver scales in the light.
Oh, thank goodness. Praise be.
Sorry, you're still squinting a little, tearing up there, Flint. It's kind of hard to tell. Something
It blew some dust in my eyes, probably.
I'll just yell out of the structure. More like stranded. More like castaways would be more accurate.
Castaways. What manner of castaway arrives in my domain via planar teleportation?
Are you looking? Oh, you're looking for a story in exchange for hospitality?
I am looking to ascertain whether I eat you here or bring you back as prisoners.
Is it speaking draconic or common?
Common.
Okay.
Well, I'll reply to everything he says in draconic.
Okay.
So we have no idea what Hargus is saying to him. Hargus, you're antagonizing him.
Oh, I'll start speaking in common. Well, you're very considerate to speak in common poor tongue. And I would be gladly to tell you where we've been, for it's quite a story, and it's only pure random mischance that we've even landed here. And we're pretty sure we're on the right planet. Could you tell us perhaps what the name of this place is? And we might be able to confirm your suspicions.
Go ahead and
or denial.
Go ahead and make a persuasion check.
Oh. 20 plus 5.
All right. He'll just do one little thing here. Okay. So that's a natural 20.
Oh, plus 8. Plus 8.
Yeah,
Excuse me.
natural 20 on my very first roll for this evening. Which good for you guys. Hargus was telling the truth, not trying to lie to the dragon. So you can just almost feel this physical presence of its eyes, piercing through the dome, just looking at you. And these big gusts of wind, every beat of the wing, just pushing you guys that are outside around, and it settles down just on the ground in front of you and puts its monstrous wings up onto its back and just surveys those of you outside of the dome looking around. Tell me.
Do I see it yet? Do I see the color yet?
Yeah, Now you're good now. Once it lands and stops flapping, you can see these bright silver scales just shimmering in the light. Yeah. Pretty impressive.
Silver. Oh, hey, we're friends of Zel'halar. Do you know her? Do all dragons of a gale color know each other? I don't know this.
What do you know of Zel'halar?
Well, we helped her out. She needed our help to do a favor in her kingdom, and we helped her out.
In fact, I think we have a tapestry still on us from them, or did we hang that up in the guild?
No, we dropped it off at the guild hall, I think.
Okay.
It was too big to carry around on adventures.
And then somebody told us it was taken or claimed. I don't know for sure.
I think that was the other tapestry.
Oh, okay.
Believe us, almighty dragon. The only thing we want to do right now is go home. We don't mean to trespass at all.
That and bathe in gold.
And where is it?
Excuse me, Lord Dragon.
Call home.
Is there some mishap that has made you so guarded of this plane?
The history of this world is fraught with mishap, and much of it comes from those who would tamper with the fabric of this plane.
Oh, that sounds like a story worth bartering for.
If you wish to barter for your life, you may continue to be truthful with me.
My life isn't that valuable to me, but I'll be kind and I'll be generous with the truth as long as you're generous with my life.
We hail from Valkstad.
Like that one.
Well, I do anyway. I'm not sure exactly where Hargus hails from, and Septine, I'm not sure where you're from. Jasper here, he's from Copenhagen. Thank you, statue. And we're all from the other side of the mountains. We don't want to be here. It's just we were ejected here from a portal that we did not create.
Is this a dragon I would know, having grown up in...
Make a history check.
Is it one of the protectors of Ice Blossom?
Yeah, make a history check.
Okay.
I come from the sea at the steps of the mountains in the foot of these plains in a nomad clan.
17 total.
Yeah, you know the dragon protectors of the Ice Blossom Nation are fairly well known, and Zel'halar.
Oh, so this is one of those.
This is one of those. This is Zel'halar's her older brother. He is the Bulwark to the north. He's the guardian of Valkstad.
Okay.
Valkstad, which you know would translate into the Frost Shield. It's the bastion city fortress to the north part of Ice Blossom.
Knowing that, I'll just kind of sort of drop the disguise self and stuff that way. Mm-hmm. Having been who Ivan was and stuff that way, I assume he probably understands Elvish then. So I'm going to talk to him in Elvish, and I'll be like, it's a long story. We ended up going on a quest to save some individuals that got dragged into the portal plane, and then our only way out was to get deposited out here. I'm actually from Ice Blossom, and I'm trying to get back there.
The long, sinuous neck snakes forward a bit, and it kind of walks forward towards you. You're getting close with this massive jaw.
You're looking well.
Yeah, he's kind of looking at you just carefully, just kind of looking around as you're speaking. When you dropped the illusion on yourself, like, it didn't even...
I mean, he had true sight, it didn't matter.
Yeah, didn't even flinch. But as he gets close, he's like paying more attention to you now and kind of just looking you up and down and just like gives you a big sniff. Just looks at you kind of cock-headed.
That's not intimidating at all.
You've probably met me before. I hung out with Ivan.
So he's kind of considering what you said, and he's just... Very well, son of the North. Tell me of this planar travel. What were the means by which you came into possession of the ability to know another plane? You stink of another plane.
Truth be told, we were in Valkstad and heard about, an individual who had his wife and daughter go missing from him. Just those two over there.
Yelling from in the sanctuary, "Here, hand him this to sniff." It's a bag full of those feathers.
I mean, if you want. And Bran is actually eating in front of him now. I'm joking.
Gotta eat it while it's not so crunchy.
Right. So we were commissioned to go find them and return them home. We ended up going to one of the temples of Yord and found out that there had been a bit of a conspiracy going on, and maybe that's where the kidnapping had occurred. Ended up finding a locked away room there, kind of snuck in, and then found a tapestry there that apparently was being guarded. Managed to get past the guard and walked through the tapestry and ended up in another plane. However, after we walked through, we couldn't go back because it seemed to be one of those one-way doors. Really kind of annoying that way, right? And from there, it's a little foggy. I think there was something in the air because I don't remember much from that time. I think I was distracted by stuff.
I can add to it.
Then we found the people that had captured them. We still don't know why they captured you. Maybe you can elaborate on that. I'm speaking in common now when I say that part to the two women. Like, can you elaborate on why they captured you in the first place and even dragged you there? That seemed to be pretty... I don't know. That's not normally where you would take a prisoner or a hostage, in my opinion.
The mother tries to hold the daughter back, but the daughter steps out, and in her modest maiden's voice, she stands erect with her head staring at the ground and said, "Lord Dragon, we were abducted by a great serpent by..." Oh, listen to my falsetto is getting really bad. It's really sad.
Thank you, Mickey Mouse. Continue.
Dragon looks to her and is like, "Time to switch to filtered cigarettes, young one."
We were abducted by
Her
a great
voice just
serpent.
dropped. She hit maturity.
Pardon me.
Guadal feather.
We were abducted by a great serpent. Man, my voice is all of a sudden crapping out on me. A great serpent, and all the men who were holding us would say was that their lord would come and make things clear. But my husband was trying to make change, and that's never popular. Especially when it involves a religion. In the back by my bed.
Very well.
And I'm afraid that's all the information I have. I think there was somebody was attempting to make a power play or some sort of coup in order to gain control of the church. And they were trying to use us as leverage.
Yord is one of the Pantheon. Why would anybody seek to challenge that? It sounds like a Durgar plot, honestly.
My husband had spent some time in a large human city along the coast. I am from Drugar, but my husband in his...
Or Drugar?
No, not Drugar, excuse me.
I was about to say, Flint? I'm allowed to kill this one, right?
She's trying to say she's local.
Of course. No help.
Her husband, in his travels with the church, had spent much time in one of the older cities along the coast. I didn't get to go, but he came back with all sorts of ideals, including the name of the gods and the pantheon. And of course, that kind of change isn't popular. She came back talking of the father of the gods, Ills, and let's take the card. Sorry, I'm feeding my children, and it's a bottomless hole.
Are you feeding them by pointing them towards like a dog dish or something?
Credit card. I'm wearing my kilt. I left my billfold in my pants.
They don't make kilts with pockets?
I have my sporn on, but I didn't load it up. Basically, she says he came back with all these ideals and like this larger understanding of the gods, and has been on this like mad quest to illuminate everybody in the father of the gods. And so when he got back, that wasn't very popular. And him being a hero of the wars, although it helped his case and everybody listened to him, it made him a lot of enemies when he started talking about the god Eels, the father of the gods, the all-seeing God, and all that stuff. And although he gained some support in the church, apparently not all of the priesthood agreed with him.
Yeah.
And so by accident, they found this tapestry, and in renovating, remember they were renovating that church, and when they renovated, they discovered this old storage area. All that was concealed and part of a much more ancient structure. And some of those artifacts were found there, including that tapestry and that statue and all that.
Yeah, so you're kind of telling all of this to him. I don't think I told you his name, did I?
The dragon?
Dragon.
You did.
Did I?
You said his title, but I
Title
don't think we
and
heard
name.
his actual name.
No.
Shidhalas?
No, Shidhalas.
Halas is the girl. That
Shidhalas.
Yeah,
Shid'Halas.
that's his little sister,
Oh.
essentially. So,
Oh.
this is Zel'halar.
Zel'halar.
Yep.
Shid'Halas Zel'halar.
Ooh, I like the
Grandma
name.
was that mom was bad at naming. Anyways,
bad about that.
nothing.
Do I know what his name means?
It's
Zel'halar?
honestly the equivalent of Jenny and George in Dragon. That's what it is.
You know the
It's not original at all.
you know the halas and halar suffix is actually a reference to like a zephyr wind. So it's a strong gale force wind, a female and a male suffix for that. There's the female form of the wind, which is halas, the male form of the wind, which is halar. Zel in this case refers to lightning in Draconic. So he's, the lightning zephyr, the lightning wind, that kind of thing.
Awesome.
Yeah. It seemed appropriate for Silver Dragons, so.
Well, she wasn't able to articulate all that. That was help between Hargus and her, and
They get the point. across.
a consensus.
You see, as you're telling all this to Zel'halar, he's kind of like gauging what you're saying, looking back and forth between you all, and he's...
She made mention of a wizard king. Her husband had spoke of a wizard king who ruled an island off the coast as part of some empire.
These are ill tidings. The gods have no father. They have no all-arcing one. Such claims are only made by those who wish to supersede the pantheon as we know it.
It's always power, isn't it?
And he's kind of looking around, just like scowling.
I mean, greed tends to be one as well, as I'm, like, still shifting in the gold.
He kind of looks over at you and, like, sniffs again. You have
I can see why you like this.
Characteristics, small one.
Oh,
We
yeah,
did not.
no.
We did not learn the name of the Coatl. She was only referred to as the Guardian.
I must speak with Foyradun about this. If there are delvings into the secret place...
Foyradun?
Foyradun. That was a dragon we encountered, right? Pretty sure.
Yes.
I thought so.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Okay.
I'm just...
The Dragon of Yord's
that one.
Garden.
I was pretty sure you named her, so... him, yeah. Yeah. Must speak with Foyradun.
I feel like that's going to be an odd thing. I feel like he hasn't found out that his sister is dating Foyradun.
Well.
So he's going to, like, walk in and be like, Sister, what are you doing here? Oh.
Oh, I don't think they actually know each other.
This is awkward. I feel awkward.
Can we do, like, a dragon sitcom? One shot.
But yeah, he...
It's just social interactions between dragons that have lived way too long.
How do we avoid their relationship when he can detect truth?
I mean, it's tricky.
No, I don't know anything about that. No.
Dragons can lie to each other well enough, though. So, but no,
Anyways.
you see him concerned. He talks about
If the dwarves are digging up the ancient relics beneath their temples, there are some things meant to be guarded and undisturbed there. Foyradun and his people should be guarding these relics, not leaving them to be pillaged by the mortals.
Brand is thinking, not saying. Shidlaw must have a hard time with her older brother.
yeah, you get the sense that the older brother's a lot more in line with Shidhalas's grandmother, Emu, was it?
A little. He's what you call dragon.
What was her name? I forget.
I don't honestly remember without looking at my
Yeah,
notes.
I was looking for it, and all I had was Emu.
In the ditch.
I couldn't
Emu.
find her full name. Like I am.
Is that what you decided to call
Yeah,
her?
it's like I am you. Is that really the best I got out of that? But yeah, so if you can find her actual name, it's probably not Emu.
I'll go look.
Yeah.
Keep
But
going.
yeah, talking to him, he does seem a lot more aligned with his grandmother's personality than he does with his little sister.
He's wicked.
Yeah.
All right, keep
Quite
going.
serious, But you know his role too is the shield of the North. He's the leader, the guardian of this bastion, meant to protect them from any incursion from the evil, aggressive things up to the north. These kind of elemental energy.
You mean like the fog crystalled forest, that making sure nothing comes out of there, and also whatever this desert is to the right of it?
That's somebody else's problem. He deals with the dudes to the north. Actually, if you want to make
That is the north of Ice Blossom.
the map has the gem forest to the south.
What?
Oh, jeez. Lousy maps. The last map I thought Ice Blossom was...
Yeah, the gem forest. Well, Ice Blossom is like
So
off
Yord's
the map.
Garden. So here's the Spine Mountains. Here's Yord's Garden.
Point at that
You
again
could
for
see.
me, Dustin.
Oh yeah, right.
I'm just kidding. I'm going to pull up the map.
Just draw a V and put Yord's Garden in the middle of the V on the left, and then make another V that is inside the other one, and that's where
what?
the forest kind of spawns from.
A V
well,
inside
we
of
might-
a V? You're confusing me, and I'm looking at the
It sounds like we
map.
have to
Double layer.
redraw
Sounds
these
like
maps
a
then.
thing we used to do.
I mean, look at
Yeah, on the playground. We used to do that.
I've
Yeah.
got, on the map that's on the server, I've got
Grab the
Gem
joke.
Forest south of
So Gem
Yord's
Forest
Garden.
is supposed to be north of Yord's Garden, not south of it.
Oh, okay. I'm pretty sure
It's
it's
supposed to-
south.
Oh.
Well, no, it's supposed to extend. It's supposed to mimic the line, the the Frostspine Mountain is, but it disappears and ends before going too far south. And then Ice Blossom is south, not north.
I thought Ice Blossom was due
I thought
east.
it was east, yeah. As east.
No,
yeah,
it
we
was
traveled.
south.
We traveled east.
How can it be
Southeast.
south? The mountains are diagonal.
Southeast, I believe is what I said.
Oh, okay.
Southeast. Oh.
Basically, if you swap where Ice Blossom and the Gem Forest are, you'd be pretty accurate.
Well, okay, so now that screws us all up because we were talking about being east of Yord's Garden in this giant plain. So that would put us in the middle of the
that's
Gem
why I
Forest.
was confused. That's why I was confused.
Sorry, you should have fixed the
I
map
thought we went
earlier.
beyond
We've
that.
broken the
It's,
timeline.
it's canonized.
I was gonna say-
We're too late.
Oh, sure. It's canonized now.
Oh.
Not my mistake.
Well, you should have corrected it. That map
I
has
didn't
been on there
know.
for months. Check it then. That's why I put
What are
it
you
there.
talking about?
You look at the map on the server, you'll get some idea of what we're talking about. It's in
Listen, it's not my fault the cartographers drew it wrong.
Amara maps.
We already discussed that the maps aren't 100% accurate.
Well, maybe it's just Bran's idea of what north and south is. Apparently, cartography's not his strong suit. Because
This isn't Brand's
all the
thought. Brand wasn't around for this.
yeah, all the official maps show the forest south of Yord's Garden.
I was curious as to why. I
Oh,
just
geez.
assumed that we were able to see the Gem Forest fog, and then just above the fog we would see the Frostspine Mountains.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can see that's the case. It's just farther down the mountains.
Yeah, it was more northern. It's supposed to be desolate north, not desolate pocket south.
All right, well, I'll fix it then.
All right. So, in this,
I mean, didn't I describe you guys as going to Ice Blossom by heading southeast?
I think it was just east. I remembered,
I imagine Ice Blossom's a big kingdom, so that doesn't bother me.
but
Oh, it was just one of the towns.
If you go east, you'll hit Ice Blossom. Even if you don't go south, it's probably pretty big. But
right. Well,
Okay.
since I
but the
can't-
Gem Forest, yeah, I thought that was.
Well, I
So
would
you-
not have
yeah,
dropped y'all that
you-
close to Gem Forest. We're in the middle of the plain in the grass.
right.
That's fine.
Wherever that is.
Well, I know.
We could just be a little. We could just be further south and to the
kind of
east. I was just confused by that myself, but
I don't know. I was just going by the map and orientated
Yeah, that's
us.
what I was going.
no,
with.
You know,
I'm,
in a
I'm fine.
safe
We're allowed to change whatever anybody else says, so just go with it.
I think.
I'll just change it back when it's my.
Oh, no, we have to settle on this now.
No, I'll fix it now. Don't worry.
The-
Anyway,
Well,
moving on.
okay, I'm trying to think now. So I had a whole.
I'll go on to
I've got a whole cool name for this
Hargus-
guy. Is the
One of us.
Shield of the North?
One
and
of us is.
everything. And now he's.
That's
Hargus
fine.
is
I just thought
grabbing
that I was referring
skies,
to him guarding against the whatever was on. Oh man, I wish I could draw.
We haven't established what's in the north, so
Yeah, we haven't established what's north, and we haven't established how far north the Gem Forest goes, or how far east it goes. We just said it. All I did was say that it kind of cuts from the north down to the south a bit before trailing off and dissipating, and then you could travel further south and to the east to get to Ice Blossom around it. Basically, you travel around the southern tip of the Gem Forest to get to Ice Blossom. If that makes sense.
Okay. Okay.
all right, Dustin, I'm streaming. Show me how to fix this.
Make this
Is it
right.
here then?
Make this right.
Yeah. So you can feel free to move it more to the right,
God bless this mess.
and then make a right-angled triangle. I can't remember what that's called at the moment.
Right triangle.
Right triangle. Just a right triangle where it starts on the left there, points down towards a little past Yord's Garden, or maybe just about where the tip of Yord's Garden is, and then just make a triangle that the hypotenuse is parallel to the Frostspine Mountains.
Okay, so it goes like this.
Jasper, can you hear me while they're talking?
I imagined it much bigger myself.
It could be bigger, so we're saying it goes off into here, basically.
Yeah, I was just imagining
the dragon
like it kind of
was kind of
feeling
him out by being snarky and you know.
I was kind of imagining it that way.
He sees that the guy is in earnest, and he'll describe where they were. And, you know, basically, you know, he's composing the whole time. So he'll go ahead and describe the six-limbed creatures that seem to dominate the plane and how they got out, the whole map board. He actually has been drawing in his book the map board that they slid the metal pieces into to escape and what happened. And he has a rough drawing of the map. It's probably not as accurate as it should be, but it's enough to, if you know anything about it, you might recognize it. Creatures and fauna.
Okay.
And the fact they nearly got 8.
Yeah. All right, so you're kind of going through, just filling him in on all that. He's very stern and demanding. But,
strange question, Jasper. Can you see his stream at least, or can you just not see anything from Austin?
Still the 2 spinning blue die, apparently. But
I went through some of that, but it was all my signal. So, thank you, baby.
Okay. Well, all right. So, Yord's Garden and the Gem Forest, or that forest north of Yord's Garden, is going to become the Gem Forest. Then I take it.
You can't even see my stream, then, huh?
No. Let's see.
It's a different window.
If you go to his name, you should be watch stream in Discord.
Live. Watch.
Oh, that's interesting.
I'll see if that pops up.
Sweet.
Ooh, now I have 3 spinning dice screens.
Oh, really?
It added one.
Yeah, something's
now
weird.
I got the stream and your 2 normal ones.
Okay. When it's done. Yeah.
What's that?
Yeah, I've got us on the opposite side of the mountains.
What, on the left or on the right?
On the right.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Like, I thought we were further right of the Gem Forest and Yord's Garden and the Frostspine Mountains. I thought we were off that way anyways, because I never described what was that way. I just assumed it was either plain or desert or something else. I just described that there was this forest that kind of parallels towards the Frostspine Mountains and kind of like a V cuts down towards Yord's Garden and then angles back up. And that's more or less what he's done. And then Ice Blossom was just to the southeast
of Yord's Garden.
Well, I was going to kind of make this just a vast grass plain with lots of herdsmen tribes, which is what Hargus is from. And eventually you get down to the coast where there is a great city, predominantly human great city.
Now I really need to watch the episodes where I described Ice Blossom to see, did I say it wrong? Did I cause all this confusion? Because I'm sorry if I did.
Maybe you just didn't reiterate. Like, maybe you briefly mentioned what direction it was and then never again, and we just sort of filled in the cracks. I
always thought it was kind of at the top, up there in the mountains somewhere. Oh.
You thought Ice Blossom was up there?
I think it's because anything with the phrase ice or
you
frost
think it's
or
to
anything
the north?
like that, I think people auto-filter that to the northern portions of a thing. So I was kind of imagining the kingdom extending north and east.
I imagined
from Yord's Garden.
Yeah, I imagined it being just higher up in the mountains. And so, because of the higher elevation, it was colder.
Ice Blossom?
And then silver dragons causing it to be colder as well.
Ice blossoming? So in your mind, the frost spine extends eastward in a pretty significant way.
Not by much. If you looked at the map right now that is on the maps, right where it says the mountain part of Frostbite Mountains, right above the T and the A, right in that kind of section there where it kind of juts into the mountain, and then you can kind of see the mountains go up a little bit, almost like a reverse check mark. I was just thinking that Ice Blossom was down in that area when I came up with it, because I didn't know what was to the right. And so I imagined Frostbite Mountains came down and maybe it juts up a little bit, and they're in the pocket there for Ice Blossom, and then you can go more to the north or east for the rest of the kingdom.
So if we're gonna
it could be cold that direction.
We're going to extend that from Frostbite Mountains, and we extend that almost due east from there, kind of a long arm of the mountains maybe. That could be kind of the southern maybe portion of Ice Blossom down there. Then it extends eastward.
Also, to be fair, I thought of something really dumb that probably affected some of your guys' imagination that way that I just took for granted. Just because north is north doesn't mean that this planet that we're on rotates on that axis.
Yeah.
Yes, it does. Otherwise, it's not north.
Otherwise, it's
We
not.
call it north, but magnets...
North means the North Pole. No.
It's magnetic east.
Well,
No.
The sun rises...
No.
at the same
North is to the...
the North Pole on some planets is not the same as where it gets the heat or cold of its planet for its rotation.
North is that way, and then
north is a
the
reference
east
to
and
how the
west
planet
is reference to
spins.
the sun. So, like it's whatever they refer to that. So we're not going to confuse ourselves doing that.
Do that to
I mean,
I will say,
north and south is the way the planet spins. It's not necessarily how it's facing the sun.
no, I'm talking about east and west.
Yeah.
I will say, shame on us for not utilizing this Western Amara map more before we immediately just branched off of the border of the map and started going into territory that wasn't shown here.
No.
I mean, come on, we could have had the map show, farther east or whatever, but instead there's all these places that are unexplored and we just go right off the map, and so now I probably have to make a new map of Central Amara or Eastern Amara or something.
Probably
And
hack that out. One thing I can think of for this Ice Blossom conundrum is that basically maybe if you took the Okos Mountains where it is on the map that's on the server now, if we just kind of extend a very large spur of that to the east, it kind of gets away from the idea of the frost spine being this singular ridge that splits the continent, but that's not, necessarily...
I still don't really see the problem with Ice Blossom. What's the issue? Like, it can be a vast kingdom that if you go straight east, it covers who knows how much, because we haven't mapped it yet. What's the issue that's going on?
These giant plains, it's going to be anything but icy.
Well, I mean, it's summertime. Like maybe it's very icy in the winter, but like in the summer, it's just sort of cool. It doesn't have to be.
Justin was explaining it as the reason the silver dragons and stuff.
To be fair, our own North Pole used to be tropical.
Well, the mountains might still be snow-peaked. There might still be snow-capped mountains there all year round.
And
but the
Ice
actual
Blossom was the name of the town. I don't think I named the nation that.
Okay, so we got
I never
the
named
nation.
it.
No, you did. The nation was Shanta OC.
Okay.
But I thought that meant Ice Blossom, and so it was synonymous. So that was just the elf.
Ice Blossom was the name of the town that was up in the mountains.
Okay, so now we'll establish that Shanta OC is the elf nation.
And don't ask me, I'll have to go look through my notes to see what that meant. or through the last video where I brought that up
Nation.
for a brief moment.
So that we got an elven nation extending from the Frostspine eastward. Nation. And that's Shanta.
And who knows? Maybe it is Ice Blossom, and I've just totally forgot because I separated.
The only thing I have on our show Bible, the DM's Guide to Mara, is the Elf Kingdom of Ice Blossom, which I changed to Shantosi, is located in the mountains in the middle of a lush coniferous forest. So that's all we have established.
Yep.
And so that should actually say the Elf City of Ice Blossom is located
in the lush
yeah.
mountain frosty area with a bunch of conifers.
Okay. I think we can move forward now. I replaced the...
Sorry for causing this upset of...
Next time, check the map, and then if something's wrong, then we can change it earlier before we build an adventure around something being dependent on a direction that isn't
The last
correct.
time I saw the map, Ice Blossom and the Gem Garden hadn't been added, so it never even occurred to me to check it again.
So where did we meet?
Okay, well, I try to add it as we create things. See, there's Falks.
Yeah, fine.
We see, Rockwell, where Flint was born. Like, I try to update it in
real time
as we discuss.
What's kind of fun now, because that puts Rockwell a little bit closer to the Gem Forest than I might otherwise have thought, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, I imagine that we don't ever
it's still
see it. It's like still on the other side of the mountains and stuff. Yeah, it's probably impassable to that direction. Most of the mountains are, unless you go through them. But
so Yord's Garden is part of...
Rockwell's a hill dwarf community anyway.
All right, so where did we now... And I suppose we're not on the map, really. Where did we meet Shidhalas's mom in that elven city, then? Based on the new map.
An Ice Blossom?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Where did you meet her?
Yord's
You met
Garden.
her in Ice.
Relative to Yord's Garden.
Where
is Ice Blossom? Just due east?
Due southeast.
Due...
Do you see where it says Frostspine Mountains and where the text of mountain is? About where the T is of mountain
is where we met her.
Is where Ice
Are
Blossom.
you serious? Oh my gosh.
That's what I had intended.
Why are you cramming it all together? I thought that the Elf Kingdom was different than these.
The whole reason why Branbreck and Ivan know each other is because they were the nearest towns of the two kingdoms to each other.
Okay,
it's actually the three kingdoms, if that's what we're... okay.
Well, what's the three kingdoms? What's the third one?
The Twain Kingdoms is Hardale and Valkstad, but if there's an elf kingdom that begins right on the other side of the mountains, then everything's so crammed.
They're loosely allied. They're not...
Maybe it's just let's just say it's a lone elf town, and it's kind of
I have no problem
unique,
with that.
I guess. Because
I just find it funny that I'm sure I brought this all up before.
We just had our positions all switched around.
Okay, well, you know what? There's a coniferous forest right there that I put anyway, so I'll just call that Ice Blossom.
Maybe it's an elven outpost. Maybe the actual borders of the Elven Kingdom are much further east.
So
we can say that.
And I'll crink it diagonally so it can fit on the map because it's right next to the border of the map.
Our cartographer's angry.
And then we'll call it good.
All right, well...
I just don't know why we did it this way. This was the least efficient way to create a world. Like, make a square and then make it in a line that goes off the square of what we're exploring.
Listen, we wouldn't be true D&D players if we didn't just throw a wrench into every DM's plan or attempt to make a map or something else. We're just following tradition.
All I'm saying is, my adventure took place right in the middle of the map in Mornblossom.
I drew a big...
right where we could develop it.
I drew a big, hard, impassable boundary on the eastern side of the map. I'm like, here's the...
Yeah, and what does Dustin do? We go right over it.
He's like, no, go under it.
I am following tradition.
Tradition.
Hey, Scott followed me over the mountain.
And then Scott took that potato and he just threw it further east. into the middle of the plain.
Not as much, though. I mean,
I always had this thinking that Hargus actually came from the plains, clans herding critters in the Great Plains on this side of the mountains before you
Honestly,
get to the greater terrain.
one of my intents was to make it so elves were so off the map that we would never get to them or touch them or their kingdom.
You took us
your
there right away.
intent. We went to one of
had
their
us go there right
cities.
away.
Yeah, being the only contact that we would have for the elven kingdom. That was it.
Oh boy.
I think I agreed with that because that's why half elves were so rare. You know, Dakrin was kind of rare. An elf passing through was rare. That
They
sort
could
of
still
thing.
be
But
Yeah, because they're on the other side of the
They
mountain.
can still be super isolated amongst themselves. You know, elves do not encourage elves to go travel other places. So,
maybe elves don't have a kingdom. Maybe they're just these sort of cities spread all over the place. They don't need rulers and that sort of thing. That could make sense.
I mean,
At least this makes sense where the plains are then, because the plains are just sort of east of here.
yeah, sort of east of all that.
Yeah.
Like, there's no problem with the gem forest being against the plains and stuff that way. It's just that it's an anomaly that's to the northern part from Jordsgarden.
okay, so bearing that in mind, we have been dropped still somewhat due east of Jordsgarden, like out in the middle of this plain.
Yes.
I'd say a fairly considerable way at this point.
Yeah. Because it was a spect of seeing the gem forest in the
Right,
mountains.
that we identified where we were. So, if that's
Scott, did you determine how close we were again?
no,
Did you say how, like a week's dirt journey or something like that?
We're-
At any rate, we're off the map, and
yeah,
so
we're off the map. We're gonna have to play a slightly fast and loose because now I'm thinking. All right, so if
Should just kept my mouth shut and let you guys just keep it the way it was.
if that's the frostbite.
no, I mean we fixed
I mean,
it.
I would have been the only one confused for a while.
All right, okay.
I mean,
Well, I'm just
I don't know why we went with the minority here. I mean, I was the only one that didn't understand what had happened with the math.
let's think here.
Okay, so beyond the plains are like uncharted wilderness, and we don't know what lies beyond, and we
Okay.
hopefully won't in this
Hopefully, won't.
because it's just too dangerous. And so
So
Listen,
Yeah.
we had talked
you
about.
could
being
just
on a
say he's
super
the
continent.
shield of the South if
Or
you
of the
wanted.
East.
Uh,
and he's like, I will
yeah,
kill.
yeah,
You
the
can
border
still
of
kill you
the
mothers.
You can still be the
wilderness
shield of the North.
He needs a mountain stronghold, though. Where's his mountain stronghold?
I think the East is fine. He could just sort of defend Ice Blossom in the mountains from
The barbarian.
anything
piles
that comes out of the anything that comes out of the plains.
Distant.
Does that work or?
Oh, golly. Might need to. I watch over all of these sheep. Any sheep come after you guys, they gotta deal with me. I'm very spooky.
Okay. Well, my question is, if Ice Blossom was north, was there more mountains that you were imagining that way?
Yeah.
To the east
I
or
was.
to the north.
To
Yeah,
the
I
north.
was gonna assuming that there were mountains along there to the north. Yeah.
Because from what the map was, Ice Blossom was in the top rightmost corner of that map.
Yeah.
And then you're saying that there was mountains to the north of that. I don't get why that has to change.
I suppose I could figure out a.
I was going to suggest that as you went north, they'd probably tee off from the coast somewhere to a greater mountain range, like, Everest scale mountain range
My
that,
my geologist
divided the
sessions,
continent.
get me going into large continent kind of things like this, where I have to have justifiable plate
Oh,
tectonics
that's good.
to.
I see a face.
Yep, it is. It's
I like that.
It's an Indian chief. Let's go with that.
There's a tiara-like thing around the hair, and then you have the face with the chin and the nose,
This way?
and then just very big brow. Yeah.
Obviously a noble native.
So I suppose...
Or rich.
I suppose we could just throw another east-west sort of...
Okay, there's an updated one.
We could throw an east-west range.
And it's got where Ice Blossom should be, path leading to it that we took to get there. And now, is that correct?
And spite in your voice.
No, I just want to make sure it's right. Is that what you were thinking?
Ice Blossom down there.
Here, let me pull it up.
Or is it close enough at least?
If it was the same as what I was watching on your stream, then it's probably close enough.
It's in Amara Maps. You can check it.
Why can't I find Amara Maps? There it is. Yeah, close enough. I was watching a stream most of the... Yeah, close enough.
All right, cool. So we'll call it good there for now. And let's more or less stick to the borders for now.
So no more traveling east after Hargus gets...
There's no reason to. There's plenty of places that we need to fill out. We need to figure out what's south of White Fork and what's on the other side of the river, and
that means
what's in the Sanguine Hills.
That we will interact with any elves.
Okay.
I have successfully kept Ivan's family and everybody else safe from Aaron.
Not anymore. I'm coming for him.
Not anymore. Now it's out of spite.
The whole adventure takes place in Ice Blossom now. It kind of makes sense. So the Twain Kingdoms is still, west of the mountain of the Frost Spine, and then Yord's Garden's almost like a little shared
weird back door.
What is it? Like a shared town, almost like an ambassador town or something like that. Ambassador to the Elven Kingdoms.
Yeah. That is one of the reasons why it had an embassy for the elves there.
So that makes sense. It's not really an extension of it so much as an ambassadorial sort of exchange place shared by both. There's a line that goes down the middle of Yord's Garden, and it's got the elf side and the...
To get to Valkstad, you either have to go through a lot of mountains with all of its dangers and everything else like that, so it's a natural barrier, and most of the Valkstad kingdom, or you have to go through a giant friggin' lava tube tunnel.
Makes you wonder why they even bothered expanding that direction instead of just populating the other side of the mountains.
Well, Yord's Garden is apparently the only dwarven city on that side.
That's what I mean. I don't know why they bothered expanding to that side of the mountains.
Countries that have done that.
About that gem forest. Wanted that sweet gem.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
The only reason why Yord's Garden is A, beautiful, and B, exists is because of the gem forest. So that disappeared. You'd wonder if the town would become a ghost town. Anyways.
All right, cool. We got it.
Nasty tundra and junk that extends to the north of where you guys are now, and that is what he protects everybody from. Is this really wicked, nasty tundra that extends northward from there? We'll just go with that.
Another face.
And you are some distance east of there. You fill Zel'halar in on all of these things. He is expressing his concern over this person claiming to be a ambassador or a cleric of this new god on the scene. He's not happy with this kind of thing and suspicious greatly.
We're going to get banished from Melvin lands, aren't we?
He is looking, kind of just very somber and kind of eyeing you each in turn, just looking at you. You can feel that piercing gaze going into you, and he's...
My duties keep me here guarding the north, but Foyradun must be consulted about this. This tapestry you speak of, this planar gateway, it must be contained. It must be locked away again. We cannot have these threats from other planes compromising our powers here. Whatever corrupted the Coatl could come into this plane as well, given exactly such a gate. This cannot be. Where did you leave this thing? In Valkstad?
That's a good question. Where did we leave it, guys? I do not remember.
We left
It
it
was in the inn we were staying at.
in Valkstad.
Okay.
This does not bode well.
And he'll look at the crew and he's like,
There are too many of you for me to take on my own strength. The journey to Yord's Garden will take you roughly 2 weeks from here. But I could transport some of you much more quickly. This one, Septian, if your men were cared for and resupplied, could you make your own way back to Yord's Garden?
I could, my Lord Dragon.
It has been some time.
I mean, not all of us have to go back immediately, right? So a few of us could go, and the rest of us could guard the gold, right?
Gold. I suppose if you wish to travel with your gold, then yes, that could be provided for. Which of you then would go to Yord's Garden or Valkstad to pursue this thing, and which would stay with your treasure?
I volunteer to stay with the treasure.
And there's no way we'll get all of this 2 weeks travel. We don't even have a cart.
We've got a dragon, and we know more dragons.
Do we look to be
Split the
pack
pay.
mules for you, dwarf?
What, you don't want any of the gold?
just kind of
Pay for the services.
rolls his eyes. He's like,
You're
What dragon doesn't like gold? Don't you lie to me. I know what you did on your on that birthday 50 years ago.
This paltry sum would fill the smallest corner of my hoard. It is yours to do,
And you
Gold is
still
like
want
gold.
but if you wished, I could send carts for your treasure.
it. Sure, I'll stay.
He sounds so dangerous and accommodating at the same time. It's really quite
I
disturbing.
always thought that dragons devoured the gold and then sort of spit it out on the back in their lair. I don't know why I always thought that, but I'm whispering to Jasper.
he looks.
That's just always how I imagined
And
it.
he's like, his face going,
We do not consume gold, dwarf. Else,
Well, you wouldn't consume it. You'd just sort of hold it and then spit it. I don't know. I don't know much about dragons. I'm sorry.
I feel
That's
like
just
Jasper
what I
would have
always
said,
imagined.
You mean like a dog?
No, a dog does it the other way around. They throw up and then they eat it again because I don't know why they do that. But that's just why they do it. No, they eat it first and then they spit it out in their lair.
Right,
I see a breath weapon regurgitating in his throat. Perhaps we should stop.
around
This
the eyes.
cold light start, cold air starts. Everything starts getting colder. We're like, oh no.
Oh, feels nice.
What's that glow in the base of his neck? I don't like it.
what about you, Bard? Do you wish to speak with Foyradun on this matter?
Will you stay or will you go?
I would rather gain knowledge and understanding of my world in order to keep us all safer. So yes, I would like to speak with Voradun and gain their knowledge and wisdom.
Very well. You may all travel with your gold back to Yord's garden. I will take the bard back to Valkstad.
I'm not sure if I made the right choice.
Take Jasper and Flint maybe as well. Or maybe just Flint. Or maybe just Jasper. Should have just sent Hargus by himself.
Do you want
we
me
have
to
a
go with you,
moment to
Hargus? I
assess
will.
what we have.
Listen, I just don't think we should send Hargus by himself.
I don't want
all
to
I'm trying to
obligate
say.
anybody to my own ambitions. You know, I can't stand it if there's a mystery to be revealed.
I don't have much. I mean, between the gold and going home, I'd choose home. So that's what I'm different from Branbreck here. I mean,
Good.
Well,
Good.
if you want me to
my
go
home
Do we
back,
have a
that way.
moment to assess what treasure we have here?
You have
your home is. Look, we're going that way. Your home is that way.
Yeah.
It's
There
still
may be something here
very
that we
far
wouldn't want to
away.
leave behind. Okay, that's enough.
Right.
Let 'em do what they're
I'm
gonna
not
do.
arguing with Flint, but honestly, my home is closer me going this way than having to go back to Valkstad and then going back.
It's not that much closer. It'd still shave off a good week and a half of travel. Actually, one whole
haven't
week, right?
been
Because it was a week's travel to Iceblossom. That's one thing I remember.
So,
But
for
I
a
haven't
moment,
had
we'll
enough
break this immersion. And let's try and figure it out as 4 DMs. We've been dropped in the middle of these plains, roughly 2 weeks from civilization as we know it.
Okay. Whichever direction that is, it doesn't matter. We're just
We're
2 weeks
2
away
weeks
from it.
due east of Yord's garden. So, we've got a dragon who is willing to transport you guys back to Valkstad because he is concerned with the implications of this planar travel. Part of his charge, he has made clear, is protecting this realm from planar incursions. The idea that something invaded the Coatl world and had them fail at their charge strikes a little too close to home for this guardian. He is also a guardian. He understands the nature of those things, and he is very perturbed that this essentially celestial being was somehow corrupted from its charge and guardianship. So he wants you to make contact with the dragons, whose job is to kind of watch over the kingdoms and you know, in the greater sense, be kind of planar guardians as well. So that's one of his things. Now, you guys want gold and you guys want treasure. So what do you guys want to do to make this work in a reasonable way?
Well, I know what happens when I've ever left treasure behind before. It's not there when I get back.
So,
Hence why I am staying.
okay. So you
I'm fine filling my coin purse with as many coins as I can carry and calling it.
Range for dimension door.
500 feet. So,
Oh, that wouldn't help.
so you guys could arrange
Like an hourglass, you just make
Yeah.
it appear and it just pours out every 500 feet, and you just make 500 feet increments as you go.
For thought.
Yeah,
For
you're
thought.
within range of his stronghold. He could provide you with wagons to get, 2 wagons for all that's here would accommodate. I was thinking something in the realm of 14,000 gold from the entire horde, just based on a random roll for time and effort spent shoveling and that sort of thing.
That's pretty close to what I was
What do you guys
thinking.
think?
Are we basically saying that we get a couple weeks of downtime, but Branbreck doesn't because he spends that downtime just transporting all the gold.
That was going to be my other thing, is we transport everyone to...
With as bad of luck as I have.
We transport everyone to Valkstad, we get into downtime, we do that there, and then the rest of the treasure hoard arrives, at that point.
My downtime is spent guarding the gold to make sure we get as much of it home as possible.
That being said, though, Bran, if that's what you wanted to do... your downtime and your contact development could be spent developing a very strong bond and relationship with Septian and his men.
I have no interest in them. I'm joking.
Okay. You waste 2 weeks, you accomplish nothing. You develop a really hard butt. I mean, that thing is ironclad.
I mean, I'm a dwarf. It was already that way.
You now have a +1 AC to attacks directed at your posterior.
Hey,
that's really good for acid attacks.
That feels like a pretty good
buff.
But no,
seriously.
Of an AC of 16.
That was kind of my goal with this, was to get some reasonable... unless you just want to all quest 2 weeks across the tundra to get back. I mean, we've still got the wife and daughter to deposit. We've still got...
take the wife.
I would want to make sure. Yeah, I'm fine with, and maybe Jasper. I don't know if Jasper wants to come or if he wants to help defend. It's up to him, but I'm fine going and make sure. I'll be the bodyguard of Hargus and the women and stuff and make sure they arrive safely.
Okay,
so I'm fine with that.
Travel with the wagon and Septian and his men and such. Did I misunderstand?
No, I thought. No,
I'll fly with Hargus and the women, and then you guys can guard the money and at least till the carts come or something, and then
Hargus, when he gets your attention, the least we can do for y'all is travel with your treasure and guard it in repayment for y'all getting us out of that hole.
Septian, you mean?
So we'll gladly, sorry. Yeah, Septian very formally offers his aid in guarding everything going back.
All right, so
they've already found the treasure they were looking for.
They just want those blades.
No, they also have a rolled up document, like a scroll. No, it's a book. Sorry,
book.
It's like an atlas. Yeah, big old atlas.
So Septian is big on that one. He really wants that thing, huh?
That's the reason they came. Or one of the reasons,
I'm going to spend my 2 weeks plotting how to steal that from him.
Okay, so
he only wants one page out of it.
Interesting. Well, I imagine he gets that pretty quickly.
Then that's obviously the page that I'm going to.
I read his mind. I cast Detect Thoughts.
I have it.
Do you really?
Yes.
It's an old tome. It's worth quite a bit of money, but it's an antique tome atlas of the ancient world here.
Oh, that's right.
It shows
Wizard King.
A bunch of non-existent cities.
Gotcha.
If it was transparent, you could overlay it over the present country and show all these dead places.
Septian, are you... all right, so... it looks like, from what I understand, Zel'halar is going to book it back to his fortress. He's going to send out a couple wagons. They'll load us up here, and then he'll come back, and he'll give us a quick ride over to Valkstad. That sounds great. Bran, you're going to hang with the wagon, and we're going to take the three of us and the two women, and you, Septian, and the rest will guard this on the way back to Jordsgarden, right?
Yep.
All right, very good.
Sounds good.
Okay.
You can count on us. Although we have no magic, so we're vulnerable.
We can spend the night here. He's got to fly back and send the wagons over. The wagons are going to take, it sounds like, at least the better part of a day to get to us out here.
I mean, why can't you just go with the dragon now and rest when you arrive?
I suppose we could rest at his fortress, but...
I doubt there's going to be many things that are going to threaten you three that the dragon couldn't take care of. And if the dragon couldn't take care of it, you guys weren't going to be able to anyways.
Fine, taking a rest and doing everything tomorrow, just in case.
We can stay here. We can go through some of the magic items.
This throat can be a little bit. You're
See if
right.
there's anything any of us want in particular of these magic items, and divvy up the rest of that. And
All right.
Night
we can
sleep
set out
would
tomorrow
be
morning.
a treasure.
We'll set out with Zel'halar tomorrow morning, and whenever the wagons get here, you guys can set out as well.
Zel, if you don't mind, you can use the gold as your pillow for tonight.
He just looks at you with utter disdain, just turns off, and just books it. You all get kind of pushed backwards.
Why is he so opposed to camping out? Shida Loss had mentioned something about her older brother being a stiff. Now I know!
He is a bit abrasive.
Yeah, definitely takes more after his grandmother. A bit more.
But then again,
Something about him being overprotective of a brother. Anyways.
there's a certain error you have when every sentence is, I choose not to eat you.
When the line between all lines is, I'm going to eat you if you don't shut up.
Because I don't like the taste of dwarf.
When he leaves, it's implied, eat you later.
Eat you later, food belly, you'll give me digestion. Pepto-Bismol.
But, well,
indigestion for dragons.
So as you guys sit there, you've got time to relax and that sort of thing. But as
I have something when we take a long rest.
Okay,
just
cool.
so you know.
Hargus is sleeping. Hargus is definitely sleeping.
But I'm definitely going to take a nap of some kind since it's daytime, because, pretty exhausting.
Yeah, it is daytime.
At some point, we're going to have a watch.
Rolls. What was you going to say, Scott?
I was just saying, at some point, we're going to have a watch. So Septien will volunteer to set up a day guard so y'all can rest if you like, or however you want
Jasper's
to do
doing
it.
pretty good, so he and Septien or whoever's not in need of a nap before it gets dark can kind of put the camp in order, get the most vulnerable inside the dome, and start bagging up the treasure and gold as best as possible. After Flint has his nap, it's a little past noon. Everyone drinks some water, eats some rations, hangs out for a bit, and you guys start organizing the magic items into a big pile. Jasper's had his goggles flipped down, and he's just pulling things over with the help of another into this big pile, lining things up. And as you guys kind of wake up and come to, Flint, you can see the big pile kind of there. He's got some ideas of what things are, but he doesn't have identify, so that's probably going to be part of Flint's job coming up here. What was that, Hargus?
Jasper, I have one spell left, so I'm going to blow it. I can grow stuff. I have a big old acorn. Do you have something you'd rather plant?
What? What is the grow stuff? What do you mean?
I have plant growth,
Oh, that's very interesting.
so I'm just going to blow it.
What is it from? Where'd you get it from?
Put it in there. I've been carrying it around. When I got the spell, I got
It's
it.
an acorn from
Picked it up.
one of the temple guards.
Oh, no, it's a big acorn, so I can't think of the name of it. It's like the classic giant oaks.
Okay. And it'll just.
It's about the size of a golf ball, literally.
Oh, sure.
I'll look it up
I'm always
if
up
you
for
like.
planting trees. Maybe set it just a little bit off to the
All
side
right.
so it doesn't disturb the gold pile.
Well, he's going to blow his last spell before he goes to sleep, and he's going to cast this spell. And,
Cool.
he's got a little song of growth and peace and
Marks our spot here.
Lord of the Plains.
Very cool.
And that's what he basically named it, and he's going to cause it to start growing.
Awesome.
Pour out a libation from his cup to give it a head start. So it'll probably be. I forgot. I have to read it again, but it'll sprout pretty quick.
So as you put it in the ground towards evening and start playing your harp, it quickly starts to have this tremor, and just quickly, just like watching it in fast forward, just kind of sprouts up into this thin sapling.
Yeah, and I'm going to reinforce it several times with my song.
It's a very sturdy, healthy young sapling, about 8 foot tall. It just kind of sprouts up. Yeah, it's looking good. It looks like very healthy. And it is out in the middle of this plain, so it does stand out pretty dramatically.
Hell, look at the plains.
Maybe this will be a great forest one day.
That's what I do. There's a lot of people call me a subversive species, laddie.
There's a druid comes out of nowhere. How dare you
introduce me out of the bedroom?
Scott went through and he got quite a few interesting items here. I'm going to have to type them up and enter them.
Are you going to...
a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, you can list them on treasure.
Okay, I'll start dropping them in there. But there's this beautiful silver and gold wrought helm. It's the shape of a lion with like the mouth open, so your face would be like sticking out of the lion's open mouth. Beautifully wrought. Quite impressive. Actually gives a type of abjuration magic, so some sort of protection magic coming off of it. There is a magical ring. It has sort of a blank slate kind of feeling to it, but I guess it would probably get put into the probably in the evocation sort of realm, but just a ring of spell storing. There's another ring. It is brass colored. It has a type of illusion magic on it. There is a rather simple leather satchel with elegant golden filigree all over it. Are you typing these up, Austin? I saw a couple pop-ups on my phone here.
Yeah,
let me know if I can
typing them
slow
up.
down for you.
And then we can...
Nope, okay.
Nope, you're doing fine.
Okay, so you got the bag with the gold filigree. There are...
What kind of magic does that have?
It has conjuration.
Okay.
It's necromancy.
Sweet. No.
Is a
it's nature based.
Quiver of arrows.
Bag of
one
hash.
has I'm sorry. One has 4 arrows in it, and it is abjuration magic. One has 2 arrows in it, and they're just standard. Not 2, 10. 10 arrows in it, and they're just +1 arrows, standard kind of +1 arrows. And then there's
10 +1 arrows.
+1 arrows. 3 of these abjuration ones that are a little more difficult to pin down the exact nature of, with just, between you and you doing Arcana checks and Jasper using his goggles to check on things, you're able to do stuff, unless you've got more.
Yeah, I've got my, I'll charge my identifying apparatus for tomorrow morning and identify as many as I can before I set out.
These as rituals if you want to target any rituals before bed too, right? So you got here around.
Well, no, the device isn't set up,
right.
So
Does
I don't need it charged. It just needs to be set up.
Was that?
Does the abjuration arrows cast shield on the target when hit?
Yeah.
That would be so funny. You just shoot them and it's just
They're called arrows of ultimate frustration.
No, I mean, think of it this way.
raining arrows.
You can use them as a reaction. So you shoot them at one of your allies to hit, and then add to their AC by 5.
Definitely not that.
It's so weird. Oh, man. I love it.
And there is one about 1 foot...
Arrows of ultimate frustration.
About a 1 foot long, very small, pointed on both ends device-looking thing. And it's got kind of a sparkling lightning motif in it. But yeah, it's relatively small, about a foot in length, and with little cloud and lightning motifs on it.
Okay.
There's a small...
And what school was that one?
Evocation. Evocation, yes.
Okay.
There is a small statue of a small jade statue of a elaborately carved snail.
Can we call it University of Evocation?
It's, yeah, it's a community campus of Evocation.
For discount wizards.
And then there's a belt with very fancy gold belt with 3 stones in it. 3 stones set in the belt.
Ooh, nice. Very gaudy. I like it.
One right in front, like the buckle.
Those aren't salt rocks, Hargus.
Yeah.
Stop looking at
There's
them.
one right in the buckle of it, or right center of the buckle, and then 2 off to each side.
Please tell me that those
Is that all of them?
That is it.
Ice cream.
Cool. All right.
Sweet.
Good to go.
Great.
And I will set up the identify device in the morning. Well, before I go to bed, and then it'll charge.
Alrighty. Well, you guys set a watch. You all sit around Hargus just before bed. You just do another ritual casting of the dome so that you're sure that it'll last through the night. And things kind of progress per the usual. You guys are all taking alternating watches, or how you doing that?
Yeah. Go ahead.
What was that?
I'm not there, right? So
You're not? Where are you? You're still
Wait.
with the gold. You're still
We're
with the
camping
original
out.
roll. Yeah.
Oh, I thought they had already left. I thought we had gone to that
No.
point. Okay.
No, we're leaving
You guys
in
are
the...
leaving in the morning. Zel'halar left to go back to his stronghold, and he's going to send...
He missed his
Yeah, he's going to
knuckles.
go send the wagons to come meet you guys, and he's going to come back in the morning to...
His treasure hoard is nothing but stuffed animals, cute
yeah,
ones.
you could tell that his disdain for your hoard was primarily due to the lack of
Only the
lavish
posh.
plush toys.
Only the posh.
It's true.
I have something for this long rest, if I may.
Is it extending through the night kind of a thing, like a dream sequence, or how do you... I don't want to do too much, but...
Kind of.
So are you going to bed, or are you staying up?
I mean, I'm going to bed, but as a DM, I have something for Jasper.
Well...
So, if you
I
don't
will
mind.
say... No, it's just timing-wise. So...
I'll play the Song of Rest so that anybody that is lacking in hit point is still carrying injuries will get double their recovery time. So
with the
I can be
rests and
fast if you need me to.
You're getting hijacked.
With the rests and everything, everyone's at full health, and you guys have watches set up. Jasper volunteers to take the first watch with whoever else is interested. And, not everyone can fit inside the dome, so it is, somewhat of import to kind of have that sort of thing worked out. So we'll say you got all the injured folk in there and the women, kind of. And then I assume you guys are all outside with Jasper kind of arrayed around the treasure hoard.
Hargus snores like disturbingly loud, so he probably is sleeping. No, he can't sleep inside. So, sorry, everybody.
Every time
We're
I
lost.
hear him snore loud, actually, I'm probably not sleeping. I'm probably sleeping near the gold or on the gold. So, no. I was gonna say if every time the Hargus snores loud and was nearby, if it wakes me up, I'm gonna throw a gold piece into his gullet.
So, yeah, as it. Thankfully he's safe inside his dome. He's not outside the dome. Now that I think about it, so
I know. So now I'm hoping that I'm just far enough away from him that I can kind of plug my ears with some gold.
I make Gandalf sounds when you hit me.
As soon as the sun goes down, you realize why this place is called Ice Blossom, and why the rhyme Skad is out here is because this place drops into the freezing temperature ranges. It's like being out on the plains of Middle America in the winter. It gets cold, and you guys, kind of huddle up and get together, probably start a fire going, watching around whoever is on watch. So who's on watch with Jasper?
Are we going to go through each watch, or just, does it matter what order, or...
I've been kind of distant. I'll volunteer.
No, I was gonna volunteer to be on watch with Jasper.
You stay in the hut, Hargus. We don't want it disappearing in the night.
That's right. I have to stay in the hut. I keep forgetting.
You could take a watch.
Take a night off.
But, it's kind of crowded in there.
You'll have to wake us up and not leave the... And if you have to piss, make sure that you go as far out of the dome as you possibly can, away from everyone else's sleeping bags.
Gives you a look. That's what the cup's for.
Oh, that would be the worst, to be on watch, and I'll see just somebody pouring water.
But no, as you
There's a lot of details to this I did not think of.
are you so you're taking the watch with Jasper, Bran? Okay. Yeah. So as you take that watch, you guys are sitting there around the fire, just kind of like trying to warm up a little bit. Jasper keeps kind of hitting himself with a little bit of prestidigitation magic to warm himself up a little bit. Just.
So how long has it been?
Since what?
Since we started traveling together. Feels like a long time. Like a year. But it hasn't been that long.
No, it hasn't been a year. Not in the non-meta sense, but yeah, I think it's been a few months, like four months or something like that. Not exactly sure.
I've lived a long time. It's the first time my life has gone by so fast. Honestly, I find it a little scary.
It's been about
5 months.
5 months since we met. Yeah, it was just starting to be winter, and now it's just starting to be summer. So,
well, I imagine time feels different when you're older. How old are you, if I may ask? I don't actually think I know how old you are.
Which one? Brand or Ivan?
I guess you, Ivan. I mean, not Brand's body, but you, Ivan. How old are you?
Yeah, plus or minus, what, 6 years, 5 years now? It's been a long time since I thought about my age.
Since Flint is asleep right now, I'm going to go to the bathroom real quick. Be right back.
as we watch Flint walk out of the dome, off into the distance.
Do you even remember how old you are? Have you forgotten?
I didn't think about my age much before. Yeah. So what's that? What do you think we're going to do next?
Are elves uncomfortable talking about their age?
No, I just don't remember at the moment.
Do you remember how old Bran was?
I don't know if I ever asked him. I've known him for about, I would say, 25, 30, 40 years.
Alright, so that's some time. So he's no spring chicken either. I mean, that's basically how old I am. So...
And, to be honest, he seemed to be a bit more of an adult when I first met him, so I wouldn't be surprised if he was in his 60s or 70s. But, I don't know. Maybe he was mature for his age. Maybe I was immature for my age.
It's always a possibility, I suppose.
But, no. I'm worried about Hargus.
Why? What about?
I don't know, it just... You know so little about him. And most recently, the strangest things have been happening around him.
I mean, is it any stranger than switching bodies with your best friend and losing his...
Tomatoes. This and that are different.
Or any stranger than your other friend walking into a forest full of living gemstones and then losing his soul to a necklace that he found on a skeleton? I don't know if we can pin.
Right, I wasn't there for that. What did you guys do to Darkvision?
Well, I think that blasted necklace gets most of the credit for that. But yeah, something was trapped in there, and it managed to take over Dakran's body.
Wished I was there. Might have been a clue.
I mean, my clue was the corpse that was there on the ground, and
No. I mean a clue for me.
Body switching thing.
Yeah.
Well, I'm quite invested in trying to save Dakran. When we did Ascending Spell to try and find him and see if he was around or in the body or whatever, it indicated that he was trapped inside of that gem. So he is trapped in there, and he would like help getting out.
I could be convinced to help out with that. I mean, that's definitely magic that seems similar to my own. Especially whereas it sounds like Dakran can't get back into his body. Maybe something similar happened to me and Bran.
It is very odd that so similar a thing
happened in the same
forest.
area. I mean,
yes.
We were much further in, and I can't even remember what happened that day. I just knew we were much further in, and we saw a city of some kind. That's all I remember.
We made it all the way into that city we heard about towards the center.
I remember that being the plan, and then spending a lot of preparation, going with a large amount of people. Everything else is foggy after that. Pun not intended, but...
It's very worrisome. I really dislike it. I really dislike that.
Looks like Flint came back from his bathroom. Right?
Mm.
It's bad, honestly. It's about his turn.
As
He's going to be tired during his watch.
a quick power pee, I guess, might not be so bad.
Or maybe he was sleepwalking.
But as you guys are kind of sitting there, you start hearing, like, in the distance, like, the faint echo of wolves across the tundra. Just... It's far away. Kind of perk up and look around.
Yeah, this place will make you lonely. It'll make
Honestly,
you hungry for your past. There's too much time here to think.
Hargus, what are you doing awake?
Yep. Bunch of buggers keep talking. I heard my name.
All right, well, it's your shift anyway, so...
Hargus can't come out of the dome. He doesn't have a shift.
Inside.
I can sit in the passage. I can sit in the entry.
At the edge of the dome. Yeah, if you keep it transparent, you can look out. All right.
True enough.
All right. Are you going to be all right traveling all that distance with just this lot, do you think, Bran?
I'm not worried about having to deal with that lot. They say Turnblade on me. More worried about the other things that are out here.
I don't know about all of them, but I think this FDN is pretty stand up.
To be
Or stable.
fair, this is kind of home turf in a way.
For you?
It can't be worse than the Hobgoblin War. Now there's that's an old story. Well, relatively speaking.
Hobgoblins didn't commit any crimes that we haven't committed against each other for generations.
I don't know. I think those buggers.
On a larger scale.
I think those buggers deserve every last blade I plunged into them in their ranks.
Oh, hey. I never had a conscience for them. I'm not saying that. I was more than happy to pile their bodies up and keep the fires going.
Them and the other monstrous races aren't something I'm king on. Anyways.
Well, if they were just straight beasts, they would be driven by hunger. But all it takes is one rabble rouser and to gather them all together, and you have another goblin war.
You know,
that's the disturbing part.
Valkstad has to deal with the Durgar, and there's issues among the elves as well, and the hobgoblins were an issue for everybody on the east side of the mountain, but did the halflings, gnomes, did Copenhagen have any natural troubles? Was it just orcs or just nothing? Or were your own worst enemies?
As far as I know, whatever troubles the gnomes had amongst themselves was just debated out. They just sort of, got into great big arguments. They had huge discussions. They brought out all sorts of legal tomes and that sort of thing, and they settled it in court. But, as far as what happened before Copenhagen, that's before there were laws, before there were books. So that sort of thing is lost to time. But I don't know. I feel like the gnomes were never mentioned.
The gnomes work and they prosper.
No,
sorry, I keep going in.
We're talking at the edge of the dome so that you can.
The gnomes work hard and they prosper, and there's always somebody that's not willing to do those things that think they can get them by taking them. I'm sure that's an issue.
I mean, there's still, the occasional squabble within Copenhagen, but for the most part, we're fairly unified there.
Well, fire's dying down. Get some more wood, wake up Flint, rotate shift.
Yeah, it's, few hours past dark.
I think that's probably done, laddie.
Flint, you awake, bud?
It does have
I can't sleep very well out here. This metal armor's freezing me to death. I might as well just...
Aren't you in the
stay
dome?
up by the fire. No, I'd let the others, the wounded and the ladies have the dome. I can't, just because I'm missing an arm, but that doesn't mean I'm handicapped. I need handicapped privileges. I'm fine. I just, I don't know. I'll be fine. Don't you
have to worry about
sleeping in an inn tomorrow night anyway? So if I stay up all night by the fire, I'm fine. You guys can get some rest if you like.
All right.
Fine.
Well, yeah, I suppose I'm ready to call it. That tree doesn't look quite big enough for me to sleep in just yet, so I'll just have to make do on the ground. And you guys kind of start shifting around, and I'd say right around that point as you guys are shifting around, you start on the perimeter hearing a more determined and then running in from multiple sides around the campfire and the dome are quite a few large wolf creatures, and on their backs are some sort of deformed, kind of horrendous-looking, long-limbed creatures of some kind, booking it in from several points and working their way in, and
So our rest is going to get interrupted, so we don't actually get the benefits of a long rest.
well, it's only the first watch, so. Now the question is, do you guys want to play this out now, or do you want to call it for tonight?
I actually should probably call it because of work-related reasons, but that's just me. Because we'll probably go beyond doing combat round at this point.
Good, yeah, it's up to you guys. So,
Okay.
All right, as these snarling beasties roll in, anyone want to do an insight on or a perception real quick? See what's going on there. They're not.
I mean, I could, but we know what will happen.
Anyone with a chance want to do an insight?
16.
Sure. Disadvantage because it's dim light, probably.
You got dark vision.
You have Darkvision.
60 foot out.
Well, it's dim darkness is what I'm saying, right? Or are they right by the fire, like in the firelight?
I'd say your 60 foot of dark vision is what prevented this from being like a sneak attack sort of situation, as they're running in. So.
Okay, but I mean, if they were in the darkness, that's dim light for me, which is disadvantage, so.
No, it's bright light for you and dim light.
The darkness turns to dim light. The dim light turns to brightness. Were they in the darkness that I view as dim light?
I'd say with the campfire, it wouldn't be an issue. Yeah.
Okay, so they got close enough. All right, in that case, 19.
Oh, yeah. These are some sort of troll on top of wolves, and they're just like...
A troll
Very
on
large
top
wolf.
of wolves. Fantastic.
Pretty nasty.
Wolf Riders.
And they're coming in fast.
Troll wolf riders. For the goblin.
Very cool.
Just maybe, your good buddy Zel'halar was not the only one monitoring strange planar activity.
Yes. It's actually his arch nemesis, the white dragon,
Who knows?
Halar
knows?
Zos.
All right, well, if you want to call it there.
Hey, that'll be a fun way to start next
combat
week.
The Jafar of Shid Halas and gosh, I can't remember the freaking dragon's name at the moment.
Well, to wrap up before bed,
whatever.
did you... Oh, no, you didn't have Identify. All right, yeah, so...
Well, Hargus will just say,
Yeah, we'll have to wait till
I'll
next
take this
time.
doorway, protect the people inside.
Well, you can't step out of the dome, and the dome will protect them inside. As long as you stay in it, they're protected.
I have first and second level spells I can still use.
All you got to do is
So,
lean a
that may be
hand
pretty
out
good.
and
From
Right.
strum.
because I don't think it prevents magic from being cast from the inside of the dome. I don't know. That came up in Critical
Technically,
Role.
It doesn't say
I don't know.
that you can't lean your front half out or lean a hand out and cast. So it's probably not the intention
I
of
just
the
don't
spell.
remember.
They probably intended for you not to be able to hide inside of it and attack things. But
Well, I assume it wasn't meant for combat, but it doesn't mean that if you got sprung upon that you couldn't defend
you
yourself.
can
because it
definitely
has
you can
so much-
definitely fire
lock
things
setup.
out of the dome, though. It stops things from coming in, but you
Yeah, I
can
was
fire things
saying-
from outside. So if you've got your throwing stars,
I would still be
says-
vulnerable to attack. I just wouldn't be able. They wouldn't be able to sneak up on my back if I'm standing in the doorway.
It says spells and other magical effects can't extend through the dome or be cast through
you
it.
gotta.
But
So he
I
can
wouldn't
get-
be casting through the dome.
He can
I would
inspire
be
us through the
casting
door.
from the doorway. That would be
Or shoot
different.
arrows.
Shooting arrows would be a good one, for sure. That would be a solid.
Physical objects can pass
From the
through the
inside
dome.
out.
Yeah, technically, when the Mighty Nine was fighting that white dragon, it should have been able to just breathe through it and kill them all, because it's not magical. It's just its breath, kind of funny. That would have changed things so different.
The spell does
They're banking on
specifically
that.
say the inside is always comfortable and warm. So it immediately negates icy breath weapon.
True. So if it would have been like a green dragon or...
I was perceiving it as having a physical entrance. Does it not have a physical
You
entrance?
just walk through it like a invisible
It's a
wall.
dome.
Okay. Well, yeah, that changes
I
things.
mean, unless you want to flavor it as an actual home, like a little hut appears. Maybe that's what Hargus creates.
I was envisioning this kind of igloo, kind of magic igloo. So.
Unconsciously, people like crawl and try to crawl through the little tiny tunnel, but in reality, they could just walk through the
There's an entrance there
wall.
the whole time.
Uh,
I think
just a habit.
I think you can definitely shoot arrows and throw things out
I
from
will say
inside the
this.
dome.
Oh, never mind. It says all objects are barred from passing through it.
Yeah, as far as I
So
know,
only energy, I think, and wind and stuff would be able to...
sound.
I don't know.
But I will say this: if the dragon's breath went through the dome, I would have gotten my wish of Beauregard dying.
Beauregard was
All of them would have
wasn't that
died.
terrible. She had her moments.
I liked Keyleth better than
What?
Beauregard.
I wasn't a fan of Beauregard either.
It's better than Beauregard.
Yes.
See, I started over. I felt like I missed stuff because I was just listening to it on audio and on Spotify. And so now I've had
You
went
only have
back
to listen
and
to Grog and
listened to it
Scanlan
again.
if you go through it again.
I love Grog. I mean, he is just perfect for that character. Even his voice, he does the voice.
He's
for him.
amazing.
I mean, it is entertaining every time he talks.
Yeah, he's amazing.
It really is. One of my favorite ones still is when he's running around as the barbarian and he goes, "Why will no one play with me?"
Because they're all running away from him all the time, yeah.
I mean, even when he can't do anything, his little bit of commentary changes the whole game.
One of my
I
my question for you, Scott, is: did you hear the mayo jar part yet, or
not
did
yet.
you miss that?
No.
I haven't got there yet.
Okay,
No,
I
no.
will not
One
spoil
You'll
that.
know it when you see it.
You're not going to spoil it for me. I'm thoroughly enjoying it. Now, keep in
I'm not gonna
mind, I'm
spoil it,
riding
though.
around in a...
But I will
passenger
guarantee
van.
you will know it when you hear it, and you will laugh.
And you gotta watch it. You
Well,
gotta
the
watch
comic
that
thing
one,
for
too.
me is
That's
You've got
I'm
to.
riding around in a passenger van that says adult probation on the side of it with about 10 probationers who are forced to listen to whatever I'm listening to.
So you're listening to Critical Role with them? Are they enjoying it?
Critical.
Because they should be appreciating it.
No, oh, is this a book? There's all levels. Actually, one the other day gave me dice, so I forgot to bring them home. So, yeah,
Nice.
he was excited to play D&D.
So here, just FYI, and here's how I'll just leave it. It says that the spell ends if you leave its area. So I'll say you can stand up with your feet inside of it. You're still in the area. Yeah,
Lean
and
through
he's a
it.
dome, so you can stand up and get your body outside
I mean,
and do
once
stuff.
again,
Yeah.
the DM is allowed to change it however they want. They can say you could cast from inside
No,
of
not
it.
from inside. Not from inside.
I mean, the number one rule in D&D is that the DM can do whatever they want with anything inside the game.
Yeah,
It's just there
strategically,
to help
I
us.
don't
No,
I wanna keep
no. I
some-
mean,
strategically, the most important thing
Yeah,
is
you gotta have
It
some
says that in the
integrity of
book.
it.
Yeah.
The DM's word is law, regardless of whatever's
But
written in the book.
it does,
It
it does.
literally
Yeah.
says that.
We're all
Yeah,
I know, but if you just play with the rules and you say anything goes, then you can't feel
Doing
satisfied finding a way to use a rule in a cool way, you know? Because if a DM's like, oh, I would have just let you do whatever. It's like,
when I read the written as worded, it doesn't say that you can't stand up outside of it and cast with your body up outside of it and have that. So you still have to expose yourself to danger to do anything useful.
Well, if we're trying to preserve our companions and the two ladies, the most effective role I can play is stay in the dome.
You can expose yourself to danger by by
moon
getting, your upper torso out of it, and then you can do stuff, but you still are stuck to that area, and you have reduced mobility and stuff.
Or, 2 cheeks.
So that'll be the...
I think throwing fairy fire right now would be pretty effective. Just create a glowing halo around all of our attachments.
It is not concentration, no.
Okay.
Just 8 hours.
Virtual spell.
So it is
all right.
And then we can get to these magic items, which are some fun stuff. Looking forward to doing that.
It is very
I do apologize for sucking up some of our time with
map.
The map.
It's okay. We're good now. I think that we're all on the same page. It's updated now. It makes more sense now. So
I kind of like the gem forest to the north now because it kind of puts a cap on why it hasn't spread south across the entire continent. Maybe too. It's the frigid north actually kind of stops it at some point. Maybe there's some contested power to the north that keeps it in check that way.
Permafrost, natural
no forest up there to turn into gems. So it's okay. We worked it out. It's good.
I know sooner or later we're going to have to go in there and fix that.
Yeah, we shall see.
It's going to happen
because it's like you just destroy the national economy of this whole area if you do away with the gem cause, right? So if you just totally...
Well, there was a city there. What we're really talking about is going into a natural or a humanoid-made disaster. I mean, it was some sort of magic gone wrong. And I imagine it was something we did, or, as the races did.
Yep, sounds like.
So, basically exploring Chernobyl and shutting down the power plant.
Well, and that'll be,
I could get you guys all a hint as to what I had intended, just to see if you ever figure it out. But I'll say that probably after, in case somebody wants to do something with it.
I think that'll be...
But
probably a giant pulsing jewel somewhere in the heart of it that's radiating all this fog.
A big old
who knows? If it gets to my turn and I have the opportunity to go back there, you might find out what I had intended.
Ethereals just left their fog machine on, and this is what happens. They had it.
Just a rave party on the inside, and it's like it's where a bunch of celestials and devils get together, and they just have a party. And anybody that finds out about it, they have to silence and wipe their memory and swap their bodies so that they have no idea how or what happened in there.
I think it's a giant.
What happens in the gem forest stays in the gem forest.
By any means possible.
I think it's a giant metal orb, magical AI
Fog
that
machine,
has
disco
taken
balls,
over and destroyed everything and is radiating its evil.
Well, maybe we'll find out
something
in part that we sort of have to decide as a group. Assuming we're not killed by wargs and frost trolls here. Not to let too much out of the bag, but it seems these frosty little trolls coming out of the tundra are, they...
How many of them?
Hard to tell just now. They're kind of... So, we'll see.
God dang.
All I know is none of us have healed up. None of us have healed up. We're coming off of the... We didn't get a long rest.
But short rest.
We got a short rest.
Hargus is healing.
I didn't have any hit dice left, so whatever Hargus gave me was...
I've given y'all 2 mass healings. I laid a cure wounds on you.
All right, well let's just see here.
Yeah.
How did you lose all your hit dice?
I nearly killed him. I was pretty proud of myself.
It's marked off on my sheet, and I I haven't.
I don't think I've used
touched
any
it
hit
since.
dice.
I don't think that we've used any short rests today, except for we haven't used any short rests. You should have all your
We're
hit
not
dice.
using any in the temple either, or otherwise. I don't know.
No.
I had it marked off. Maybe it's just been that way, and I haven't noticed.
Are you talking about your?
you should be
hit
fine.
point?
For
Hit dice.
In the temple, right? He was down really low when we exited the temple. When we exited the gate into this plane.
And then
I want to say I asked if I could roll for hit dice at one point. Like if I had enough time for a short rest when you guys went up, but I was scooping out the gold.
Right.
I actually don't remember.
For the purposes
anyways,
of this, you have full health. You've used all your hit dice, and Hargus is healing, and so everyone's at full health, but you don't have any of your other spell resources or anything like that. So,
got it.
I still got 2 disguised selves. I can turn into a golden statue again.
Work fine. A very effective method, I'm sure.
Not to say anything, I'm just saying I can turn into a golden statue.
That's probably what they're here for. Next time, assuming we don't all die to these wargs and frost trolls, we will need to kind of sort out as a group what our next objective is going to be. So I'm...
Whatever the campaign 2 is, because you're going to kill us all.
Quite possibly. I mean...
It's something that happened.
8 now.
We'll be fine. I've got... My gadgets are...
Maybe Flint will finally take damage.
He's taking damage.
I took some damage from debris last time.
Dangerous damage.
We'll see.
The worst thing that Flint has had is like a bent arm on an arm that doesn't exist.
How convenient.
The armor arm was bent, yeah. I don't think I've been at half health yet, so we'll see what happens.
Well, good times.
Anyways,
I'm the tank.
We'll get this ball rolling here.
All right.
Should be fun. So
sweet, and I'll see you guys on Saturday.
We'll see you later.
I'll see you then. I had a good time.
Later, buddy.
Good night.
Yeah. See ya.